enjoyed the pastoral work for so many years of my life. But I see this transition still as a pastoral role, even though it's now in a school setting in the world of education. It's been a steep learning curve, just understanding the new context that I'm in. But after many years of leading out in youth ministry as the youth director, the passion to be together with young people has sort of reminded me of that I'm in the right place again. So being here with 200 young people is an amazing opportunity every single day. Vejlefjordskolen has for many years been the hub where Adventist families have sent their young children for 3 years of education, doing their A-levels, what the Americans call their high school. So we've had these 3 years where we have been able to form the young people and create that network and fellowship. And I think it's very unique that we have had this opportunity, and I'm enjoying very much every single day. When I started my work here, I deliberately decided to decorate my office with things that could motivate me and encourage me. I knew that there would be some challenges ahead. So what could inspire me? And I found this scrolling through Facebook one day and thought that is a picture I need in my office. It's an illustration of the lost sheep, Jesus being willing to leave the 99 to go out for that one stranger. And the illustration is just so powerful in a context here of the school with well, we have in the boarding school with 9th and 10th grade, we have 105 students, very close to the 100 sheep. And I wish there was only one that left. We have a handful that on a weekly basis challenge the rules and challenge the school's values. But that motivates me. If Jesus was willing to go out for that sheep, then I am too. I'm willing to go that extra mile to find them, to listen to them, to develop them, and to raise them up, pick them up, take them in the hand, walk with them, and show them there's something better to this life. In many ways you can say that the effects of our decisions here are much closer to the people that are affected of our decisions. So we decide something in the morning at a leadership meeting, and the next afternoon the students, it already has effect. As a union president, the process was slightly longer. We worked through the pastors, departmental leaders, through the churches before it had an effect out there in the work. So in that sense, I'm enjoying that very, very close connection. In many ways, it's very similar to what I did as a union president. The administrative leadership role is I wouldn't say identical, but many of the challenges are the same. Personal issues, crisis management, financial management. I'm not dealing with elders and church members. Now it's teachers and parents. But some of the dynamics are the same. So many of the skills I've taken with me through the years of leadership, I can utilize and use here, even though it's not a church setting. I miss the good long drives in the car just for myself. As a union president, I was out in the country visiting churches, members, pastors, and had many hours for myself. So that reflective time I don't have as much as, and simply I've just been in this position for 8 months, so it's still very new, and as I said, it's a steep learning curve. So there hasn't been much time for reflection. It's just been diving in and just finding out how this new role is. It's a complex institution because we have everything from kindergarten, from 3 or 4 years old, primary school, secondary school. We have a boarding school for 9th and 10th graders, and then we have the boarding school for the last 3 years before college. So we have everything from 3 years to 4 years to 19 years old. So it's a big stretch, and a lot of people, a lot of staff. I have I have 4 departmental leaders who have their responsibility for the education. So my primary role is the school leader. How does the Christian values, how does the Adventist history, the Adventist DNA, how does that transform into an everyday life? How do we create that culture here at school where students can experience not just our values written on a piece of paper, but experience them in daily life through the way that we interact with them, through the teacher's way of leading out in a classroom. That's a challenge I find very inspiring, and that's why in my view, I'm still in a pastoral role. The context is a little different, but the motivation and my drive, and dare I say calling, is still to influence these young people and show them a better direction for their lives. Vejlefjordskolen is in a context where maybe half of our staff have a relationship with Christianity or the Adventist Church, and an even larger percentage of the parents and students will have no connection with the Adventist Church. So we have a majority of our families entrusting their kids to this school, even though they know that we are a Christian school. It is the Adventist Church who runs the school. So we have to step very carefully, but also in our communication be very clear on how far we go. Is this a Bible school? Are we preaching for their kids? Or is this a good education that we give the students in a context of Christianity? So I think I'm seeing much of my role as also developing the teachers to find their role in that sharing of values. How can they, even though they haven't bought into the whole package of Adventism, how can they be an active player in sharing the values with children? And the first week of school, of planning, before the students come, all the teachers were together. So I took a whole morning out and talked about the school's history, and told them about the Adventist, why the Adventist Church started the school, and then talked about Adventist values, Christian values. And we talked about the Sabbath, we talked about baptism, we talked, who are the Adventists? You're a part of a story here at Vejlefjordskolen. You should know a little about who we are. And many some of them were surprised actually that they didn't know that story. And many wanted to know more about it, and found it so satisfying to be a part of a larger narrative. They're not just teachers here. No, they're a part of a long history where we have created a foundation where these values can be applied in the culture and the life here at Vejlefjord and handed on to the next generation. The principles are the same as I see it. Proximity is much, there's a difference. I'm much closer to the parents, to the students, to the teachers. But no, I think the principles are more or less the same, which goes back to my calling as a pastor to share the gospel, to share the good values of what Jesus came to teach us. Yes, and I think in many ways that is a principle that we are listening and hesitating in just overloading them with a lot of speak, but would like to model what these values, why we believe these values are so important. We want to model those in our lives. So the preaching and the evangelization comes firstly through who we are and the way we deal with students. So dealing with a boarding school, you always have trouble. So we've had a number of kids we've had to end our relationship with and send them home. But others know that they have repeatedly got a second chance, even though they knew this was the line, this was the last chance. And I think we've been able to communicate that as us living out our Christian values of going the extra mile for a person, because there's always a backstory to why they are reacting that way. What family do they come from? What context do they have? What upbringing do they have? And there we have certainly gone the extra mile to help children grow and develop. And I think, and I know that we have given some of the students extra chances that other places wouldn't have. And that's always a balance. Will they then misuse those new chances? But I think we've been able to communicate it in a way that the students around them understand you can't just get away with everything here. Thomas doesn't just smile and you're forgiven, you'll have a new chance. They know that they can't just misuse that willingness, and they know that we are here because we want to work with them, we want to develop them. And if they, if we can have a cooperation around that, where they themselves say, I want to change, I want to become a better person, I want to follow the rules. If that's the attitude, we're willing to give them a new chance. Jesus. Jesus is the need, and one of our biggest challenges is the mental health of young people. We are struggling with the effects of what social media and mirroring yourself up against a culture that is not a part of their reality. So we are having huge challenges with their mental health issues, and it's not all the way as depression, but it's angst, it's anxiety in various degrees, but that is certainly one of the surprises that I have seen coming here, working so close with the young people, how much they need just a platform to build their lives on, just the knowledge that you are created, you are valuable, God has given you worth as an individual being, that human dignity each one of us have. I suddenly realized how much that basis, that foundation that I have been able to build my life on, because that's a gift that I've been given from my parents. That foundation is needed and lacking. So they are all over the place with anxious thoughts and minds, instead of just finding a sense of peace, knowing who they are and that they are loved. I never expected that. I have, however, I have been reminded of a dream I had as a probably 9 or 10-year-old. I was on my way back home from school. I was tired. I sat on a bench and just sat and thought. And I think probably we had just come home from some kind of picnic or trip or whatever with the school. But I suddenly remember now that I sat on that bench and thought, well, maybe I should become a teacher, and I would then have a bus driver's license, and then I would have a bus and take my classes out in nature and do classes. And that has just been one idea I haven't done anything about. Then I became a pastor and enjoyed that and thought that was the way or the direction my life would take. So it's just, it's a year now that the chairman of the board started knocking on the door and asking if this could be an opportunity for me. So no, this has come as a surprise for me too. But being here as a child, growing up at this school, being educated from this school, has of course given me some of the history too, and in many ways beautiful to be back in another role, but definitely enjoying sitting here at this desk and leading out.